If you look back at the history of human civilization, you find so much horrors that are undescribable. The earth where our existence doesn't make much sense to start with, we found a way to live with each other. One thing that we did great was to make art as a tool for self-expression. I love cinema, I love watching films, and I love other kind of arts in general, specifically the horror genre in films because of what it makes me feel. This is a video essay we will discuss horror films and what made them great in my opinion. Let's define what is horror. According to Cambridge definition, horror could be defined as an extremely strong feeling of fear and shock, or the frightening and shocking character of something. The thing with horror films are that they make us feel something. When we watch a film like Midsommar, we grasp often and feel disgusted and feel like something is crawling inside us wanting to come out. No, this is not the thing reference. Let's start with one of my least favorite horror film, which is Heretic 2024. Spoiler alert, the summary of this film is basically when two young missionaries played by Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East are forced to prove their faith when they knock on the wrong door and are greeted by a diabolical Mr. Reed, played by Hugh Grant, one of my favorite actor by the way, becoming ensnared in his deadly game of cat and mouse.
I'm a weirdo.
Heretic is a film that doesn't give you horrors that can cause nightmares, but rather horrors in the form of dialogues to make you feel terrified and even uncomfortable.
Okay, so maybe you know Lana Del Rey, who remarkably was sued by Radiohead for plagiarizing Creep in her 2017 song, Get Free.
This film is horror because the villain thing is absolutely right. The certainty of him being right made him more dangerous than he could have ever been. He believed religion to be a thing that controls human.
Religion is just a system of control.
So he made his own religion where he inflicted suffering upon other human beings, such as two missionaries, where he inflicted suffering upon them by making them doubt their faith and doing absolutely bad shit with them. And be honest, who doesn't like Sophie Thatcher in a horror film? Moving on, we have Jennifer's Body. Jennifer's Body was released in 2009 and people hated it at that time for obvious reasons like showing Megan Fox as grotesque. Men specifically at that time couldn't take it. So yes, the cult classic now was hated back then if you think about it. I consider myself a member of its cult. Before Jennifer's Body, Megan Fox became a star for her being cast in Transformers. She was seen as a sex appeal for men, but Jennifer's Body, which stands today as the feminist cult classic, gave the world at that time what they'd hate, or maybe still do: grotesque women. Jennifer's Body takes a hot girl and makes her genuinely grotesque. She isn't doing sexy or decent things, she is doing things that repulse men, and that is her literally eating men. This film is not only about eating men, at its core, it's a film that deals with queer issues like near and when Jennifer says that I go both ways, illustrating bisexuality.
I am going to eat your soul.
Thought you only murdered boys.
I go both ways.
Why did Jennifer transform into a demon? We can look at the scene where she was sacrificed by men. She was supposed to die, but since she wasn't a virgin, she came back as succubus eating men. She targets the boys of the town because to her they represent the demographic that harmed her. It's an angry, cathartic response to violation.
You're killing people. No, I'm killing boys. Boys are just placeholders. They come and they go.
So why did it take us so long to get here? Because in 2009, at that time, the world wasn't ready to let Megan Fox be. Moving on, we have The Haunting of Bly Manor. The Haunting of Bly Manor is not a film but rather a show, at the same time a fascinating one. Bly Manor adopts Henry James' classic novella The Turn of the Screw, but it strips away the ambiguity of sanity to focus on a different kind of horror, the horror of holding on. If Hill House was a monument to grief, Bly Manor is a thesis on love, specifically how love can mutate into a cage and how memory can become its own haunting. To understand Bly Manor, you have to look at its two distinct romantic pairings. They represent the dual nature of love, love that consumes and love that sets free. First, we have Peter Quint and Rebecca Jessel. Their romance is passionate, intense, and deeply toxic. Peter is a man defined by a lack of ownership, having come from nothing and been abused. His instinct is to possess everything he touches. To Peter, Rebecca isn't just a partner. She is a prize he refuses to lose even to death. On the other hand, we have Jamie and Danny, of course. Their love is deeply passionate. Jamie even told her, "Do you need company in jungle?" which I find really, really adorable.
To company. Why you wait for your beast in the jungle? To company.
Their love waited, accepted for what has to come, and I was sobbing by end. Surely there are better insights you can find on one of my favorite channel, Lady Night the Brave. I'll mention her video on this show in description. She did an amazing in-depth research video on this show. This show is horror, it's a love tale, and really a show that tells you how anger and rage consumes you.
And forget. And with the forgetting, an ailment altogether monstrous. All things fade. All things. Flesh, stone, even stars themselves. Time takes all things. 'Tis the way of the world. The past recedes, memories fade, and so, true does the spirit.
Lastly, I want to include Possession 1981, directed by Kowalski. Isabelle Adjani's performance was so brilliant it still feels unreal. Possession follows Mark, a spy returning from a mission, and his wife, Anna. Their marriage is already collapsing. She wants a divorce. What follows is not a normal breakup story. It's jealousy, betrayal, identity loss, and psychological disintegration turned into pure body horror. Shot in Cold War West Berlin, the city itself feels like a character, divided, paranoid, bleeding with tension. The political backdrop mirrors the personal one. Walls going up between people who once loved each other. There's a specific scene in restaurant where this line is completely visible. I can't say I understood this film completely, but from what I understand, this film is a brilliant depiction of an unhappy marriage. The monsters in this film are metaphors, but really terrifying if you ask me. Horror genre is emotional catharsis for people who are so afraid to let their dark parts exist.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother!
That genre exists to tell you that the dark aspects of yourself are still you. Either you accept them or suffocate yourself in the performance anxiety. I remember when I first read Exorcist, and there was this line which I thought was so beautiful, and that line was, "There it lies." I think Damien, possession, not in wars, as some tend to believe, not so much, and very rarely in extraordinary intervention, such as here, this girl, this poor child. No, I tend to see possession most often in the little things, Damien, in the senseless petty spites and misunderstandings, the cruel and cutting words that leaps unbidden to the tongue between friends, between lovers, between husbands and wives. Enough of these, and we have no need of Satan to manage our wars. These we manage for ourselves and for ourselves.